Hi everybody, Simon Keeling here, Saturday the 23rd of June. Thank you for watching once again. I always remind you that the site's kept completely free of charge by you coming to the site and seeing what's on here. It's loading up the adverts that generates revenue for us, and when you click on an advert as well, it generates even more revenue. But that's the reason that we're free of charge, is because you keep on coming back using the charts, using the videos, etc. So thank you for doing that. Now, lots and lots of talk about rainfall across northwest England. Of course, flooding last night, which was accurately forecast, I hasten to add, by us here at WeatherWeb. Now, also, I get really concerned about news reports because they always seem to end with, and there's more rain on the way, or when it snows in the winter, and more snow is expected. But these are just throwaway lines, and it really does get to me that these reporters seem to think that they can just throw in these lines and nobody's going to be concerned. So if you are watching in northwest England, there really isn't going to be rainfall on the way of the order of the rain that you've had in the last few hours. This is the prediction from the Herland model, and it shows here the time as midday today. Now, if we knock it on in 3 hourly steps, you can see that yes, there's going to be bits of rain coming through during the course of tonight, but this is only 1 or 2 millimetres of rain in 3 hours, so these are perfectly normal totals. Yes, a little bit heavier down towards the south here. Look, 10 millimetres in 3 hours certainly is going to be something that's going to be noticeable, and in the next 3 hours it then puts on another 6 to 10 millimetres too. So you know that is reasonable amounts of rainfall, but it's not of the order of what we had yesterday. That then clears away by Sunday morning, and you can see how on Sunday morning most of the rain just clears away down to the southeast, and by midday most places are dry, and we are going to be seeing some drier weather then for a couple of days. And there's Sunday evening. Look, by the afternoon through into the evening, very little in the way of showers around. Yes, 1 or 2 affecting the east, but most places are going to be dry, so don't panic in those areas, please. Although you will see rain tonight across, I suppose, what are we, sort of Cheshire, Greater Manchester, southern Lancashire, not further north, which is where the greater problems with the flooding has been. Now, of course, the other headlines we're going to start to see pretty soon are things like wettest summer ever and summer deluge and the year that the summer forgot. Well, let's just put this into context. Look, these are the rainfall deficit charts for the last year. So this goes back to July 2011. And this is the rainfall line here, the normal rainfall line. It's the solid line running through the middle here. And then what we have are daily totals going either side. Where it's greener, it shows where conditions are wetter than normal. Where it's browner, it shows where conditions are drier than normal. And you can see how, look, we still kind of just going along this line across northwestern parts of England. Yes, it's become wetter recently, but generally we're still just running along this line. And look, if we look at the surplus, the overall surplus of rain, it's only 2 inches above where it should be for the last year in total. And then let's take a look at another station. Let's look at where should we go? Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at Leeming. There we go, Leeming in northern England. Look here too, yeah, it just bumps along around about normal. Look, last year. Then we go into deficit during December, and it really becomes that dry conditions. Look, remember that back in the spring, how dry conditions were in the later part of the winter into the early spring. Look, there it is. But yes, we've just become wetter recently, but still, you know, we're still not faring too badly. And then if we take a look at Bournemouth, well, completely different story for Bournemouth. Look, they really are in deficit and have been all the way through the last year. It's starting to get a little bit closer now, but we're still below normal rainfall, with 3 inches less rainfall than you would have expected over the last year. So when you hear these headlines and when you see these stories proclaiming the end of the world and how wet it's been and how global warming is to blame, no, it's not. It's just the atmosphere balancing itself out. And always bear these figures in mind, because over a year it's an absolute blink of an eye in terms of the earth, and things do tend to even themselves out. And just think about southern parts of England still being well drier than normal, the northern parts of England and Scotland being around normal or slightly wetter than normal. So how do conditions shape up for the next few days? Well, it's looking like we are going to be seeing low pressure trying to control again into next week, and that's the chart that I need. Sorry about that, flicking through the charts there. I'm going to show you the ensemble model for the next few days, and this is the charts from today at midday. So this is going to go in 12-hour steps, and you can see low pressure here to the east of Scotland today, low pressure west of Ireland, another deep area of low pressure in the Atlantic there, and these areas of rain just trailing back into the Atlantic, showing these trains of rain that move their way through. And you can see why it was so wet. Look across the northwest during yesterday and last night. Trace these isobars back with the wind, and look, you can see that the winds are coming from right down here, 20 degrees north, getting into the tropics, just feeding lots of moisture northwards over a colder sea. It all condenses out and causes these heavy bursts of rain to form. Now we need to watch this area of rain that's to the south as it moves through over night tonight. That is going to be taking some heavy rain with it across England and Wales during tonight. Perhaps not clearing away from the southern coast of England and southeast England until the middle of the day tomorrow, but it will have cleared away from the north and the west overall, with brighter conditions coming through, although some showers affecting the east of Scotland and northeastern parts of England. Into Monday, we go into a cooler north to northwesterly flow. 1 or 2 showers down these eastern coasts, but for the vast majority of us, it is going to be a dry day, it's going to be a brighter day, and temperatures of around 18 to 21 degrees, with this northwesterly wind blowing at around 12 miles an hour in the east, a lighter 5 to 10 miles an hour to the west. Some thicker cloud just starting to edge into the southwest there later on. May bring some drizzle to Southern Ireland and the far southwest of England, but generally most of us will be staying dry overnight. And then into Tuesday, what we start to see is rain just knocking on the door of Western and Southern Ireland and southwest England, but for many it looks like being a dry day with some good spells of sunshine. That rain then tries to edge its way eastwards through the course of the night into Wednesday, and to some extent it succeeds, because we find more persistent rain across Ireland, Wales, northwest England, southwest England during the course of Wednesday. But please don't panic, because I really don't think that's going to amount to a great deal. We might get 5-10 millimetres from it, but not that much overall. More eastern areas are also going to be seeing some light and patchy rain, but essentially dry. This area of high pressure nudges into the south, bringing dry weather across southeastern parts of East Anglia and into southern parts of England. Then through Thursday, well, the low's still in control, but it pushes rain across Scotland and Ireland. I think for much of England and Wales, dry conditions here. Just a few showers breaking out. Some of those possibly could be quite heavy across central and southern parts of England during Thursday afternoon. On to Friday, and for Friday, low pressure is still around. Look, we've got it centred across Ireland. It's bringing some rain to the north and to the west. But for more southern and eastern areas, I think dry and also warm. Temperatures getting into the 20s through Thursday and Friday. And then into Saturday, well, this low trying to get its act together more across Scotland and Northern Ireland as well as North England, but I think more showers than anything else here, and dry towards the south and also towards the east. Into Sunday, well, the flow goes more into the south or the south-southwest, so I think we could find some really warm conditions coming across England and Wales during Sunday. Could see 24-25 degrees. Some rain for western Scotland and also western parts of Ireland. And then it's that low that we need to watch, because I think this will deepen more than it's being shown on here, so that into the start of the week after next, we'll find this low really taking control, and I think it could deepen up and perhaps bring some heavy bursts of rain east through the country, together with some strong winds. Eventually, though, it should clear away, and there's hints of a ridge of high pressure then building into the early part of July. However, don't get too excited, because I'm not sure it's actually going to become wonderful conditions during this early part of July. It might take some time for things to settle down. And in fact, just been doing a little bit of research for you, and out of interest, what I did was compare the conditions in 7 days' time to conditions in 7 days' time but over previous years, to see if we could get any analogue years in, and then projected in 2-week steps forward from that. And let me just tell you what I found out, because I found out that of the 10 closest matches in terms of years to the pressure pattern at 500 millibars we're expecting in 7 days, over the following 2 weeks, so this would take us from the period, and I'm just checking my diary here so I'll get these dates right for you, that would take us from the 30th of June through till about the 13th of July. Out of 10 years, only one of those years was drier than normal. The rest were normal to wetter than normal, and 7 of those years saw temperatures colder than normal. So these hints from the analogues that conditions stay cooler and with rainfall being around or above normal during that next 2 weeks. The following 2 weeks, so this would be the end of July, taking us from the 13th of July through to about the 27th, no real steer clear from those, apart from 8 of them had normal to wet conditions, with only 2 being dry. So again, rainfall was near normal. 5 of them were warm, 3 of them were cold, and 2 of them saw normal years. So it actually seems as if in that second half, although rainfall stays around about normal, temperatures tend to come up to nearer normal values as well. So if we follow that pattern, it could mean that for the following couple of weeks we see normal or even wetter rainfall conditions with temperatures below normal, but then towards the end of the month things do warm up, but still holding near normal amounts of rainfall. Of course, early days, anything could change, and it is very difficult to get a steer on conditions in July at the moment, although I still hold to this idea that the final 2 weeks look better than the first 2 weeks. So, hope that's been useful for you. I'll stop rambling on now. Once again, thanks for visiting the site. As I said at the beginning, it's you coming to the site regularly, using the charts, watching the videos, that puts more adverts in front of you, and it's that generates the money for us. So, thanks again for watching, and please don't forget to tell your friends about what we're doing here. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.